Honestly, if you'd asked me 3 or 5 years ago, if I would have been making content, I would have said no. No, skip me. I'ma find something else to do. But to be honest, the growth I've had through the last few years has been because I've realized that so many things are changing. The the economy, politics, whether you're talking about local politics, whether you're talking about global politics, it's all changing. Jobs, financial security, people are getting laid off left and right. New companies are popping up, and old companies and new companies are disappearing just as fast. So, how do you, in these changing times when everything seems to be changing so rapidly, and let's not even forget AI, like all those things, I didn't even mention AI. With everything changing so quickly and so rapidly, I've come to the realization that we have to be intentional about making content because it's a huge possibility that that's going to be the only source of financial security for a lot of us. If you don't have a job that will pay you, how will you pay for your lifestyle or the things that you need? Living in an area or a time where any job can be cut for any reason, and knowing that you yourself are not more important than a company's bottom line, and it could be someone who's been there at a company for 20 years, and because the shareholders, want to see increased values, your job may be on the line, your livelihood may be cut short. And that kind of thing where investors and shareholders are looking for higher values reporting, and like that, kind of like that happens yearly. For a lot of companies it happens quarterly, but this reason is not the only reason you can get fired. It's not the only thing that can get you fired at the drop of a hat. And in this case, because this actually did happen to someone that I know who was working at a company for 20 years, right? And they fired her in like a mass layoff kind of situation, right? So they were trying to get rid of a specific, percentage of workers or whatever. So they decided to cut, I think it was like 5% of their staff or something. And she was on the chopping block. Despite her being here for over 20 years, despite her having all this tenure, she was a great employee. Like her metrics were ranking at like the top of her department. She didn't have any disciplinary issues, barely took any time off. Managers, customers, everyone loves her. But the company decided, those record breaking profits just weren't breaking enough records. So they had to cut some people in order for their shareholders and things to, I guess, get the payout that they wanted or to see the specific numbers that they wanted to see. And the company said that it would be more, apparently, that it would be more profitable without her. And they cut her. So now her livelihood is just gone. Just gone. Up out the blue. And to be honest, this even happened to myself. Like now, currently, I'm, happy to say that I'm fully employed full time, however you want to take that. But I'm employed now, but before this current job, like I was working at a company for like a little bit over a year, right? And then just all of a sudden, they let my department go. Like everything was going fine, the metrics were, looking good. In that specific job, they wanted you to have like a 90 percentile, like in terms of your like QA scores or whatever. And I was still exceeding that. But, you know, even though that I was doing great, that I didn't have any disciplinary issues, everything looked fine, metrics were good, even though all of those things happened, they still let the department go. Now I learned this before I got let go, but getting let go was another slap in the face that made me frustrated because it kind of felt like I had got let down in a way, if that makes sense. It feels like, oh, I've been doing, what everyone's been talking about, what my parents and friends and society has been talking about. I, learned the things and I went out and I got a decent job, and it's supposed to, that job is supposed to take care of you so you can take care of, yourself and your family and all those kind of things. But in a huge way, I kind of felt like I was tricked that, like, the job, there is no job security if someone can take your job away from you at any moment. It also kind of re-strengthened for me that I have to be out here creating content. I have to be out here, creating my own business, my own entrepreneurial venture. And I say content as a way, I don't want to say that like content is entrepreneurship, but what I will say is that entrepreneurship in this current day, age, iteration, as I am seeing it, involves content creation in one way, shape, or another. Because that's how people are going to learn about you. That's how people are going to stay connected to you. So after they learn about you, they will continue to be engaged. I learned a lot of stuff recently. One of those things was that very few people buy on the first look, right? There was this statistic that it takes between 7 and 11 touch points before a customer actively engages, buys or makes a purchase with your brand. And some studies have that all the way out to like 14 to 16 touches before someone decides to, make a purchase. And if that is the case, you cannot expect to make one thing and then people will keep coming from that thing. Eventually, that one thing will be old and stale, and the people will move on to, new things, which is why businesses, entrepreneurs need to make consistent content. That way, people are constantly engaged and re engaged. So that way, when they have those, or when they're getting to that, 7th, 11th, 14th, 16th touch point, and they're not sure if they want to buy or not, they still have consistent content coming in, giving them new perspectives, giving them new information, giving them new reasons to why they should be engaged or buy or care. Content serves as a way to take my own life, my own financial livelihood into my own hands, right? Creating content is a way that I can generate income for myself, that lets me control my own financial destiny, that lets me control my own time freedom. Simply put, making content is going to help me make money online. And I'm truly believing that in this day and age, Making money online is not only a necessary skill, I think it's a vital skill that as things are continuing to progress and advance and do so at rapid and breakneck speeds, it's going to be even more important learning how to create an audience, how to monetize said audience or said content. So I say all that to say this. I hope that you're paying attention to how the world is changing around us, whether it's mass layoffs, political, economic instability. I hope that you are not clinging to the relics of the past that no longer serve you, like the illusion of job security with a 9 to 5. And I hope that you start creating content now, whether it's video, a podcast, a blog, a vlog, a social media post. It doesn't matter as long as you make it authentically and then make it consistent so that way you can find a way to monetize it and build the future that you want to see.